A 72-year-old man woke up one morning feeling completely fine. No chest pain, no warning signs, no reason to think that morning was any different from the thousands of mornings that had come before it. By 9 o'clock, his family had called an ambulance. When the doctors reviewed everything looking for the cause, they checked his diet, his medications, his medical history. None of it explained what happened. The trigger turned out to be something that took less than 30 seconds. Something he did every single morning without a second thought. Something millions of older adults do right now, believing it is either harmless or actually good for them. I am Wesley Harper, and today we are talking about the morning danger zone, what it is, why the first hour after you wake up is the most vulnerable time of day for your heart, and the specific morning mistakes that push an older cardiovascular system past its limits before most people have even had breakfast. This video is not about scaring you. It is about giving you information that genuinely protects you. Because every single thing I am going to share today is fixable. Simple habits that take less than 5 minutes and make a real measurable difference to your heart health every single morning. Stay with me because toward the end, I am going to give you a 5-step morning routine that takes almost no time and changes the entire picture for your cardiovascular system. And right now, before anything else, drop a comment below and tell me honestly, what is the very first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Just type it. You are going to see how many people in this community share the same habits, and some of those answers are going to look very different by the end of this video. First, I want to make sure you understand why the morning is specifically dangerous for the heart, because once you understand the biology, everything else makes complete sense. When you wake up, your body does not simply switch on like a light. It goes through a rapid and dramatic series of physiological changes that place real demands on your cardiovascular system all at once. The first thing that happens is your body releases cortisol. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone, and it surges right at the moment of waking as part of your body's natural preparation for the day ahead. Cortisol signals your heart to beat faster. It signals your blood vessels to constrict. Your blood pressure rises. Your heart rate increases. This is completely normal, but it means your cardiovascular system is already under increased demand the moment you open your eyes. At the same time, your nervous system shifts from its nighttime resting state to its active daytime state. This shift releases adrenaline, which amplifies the increase in heart rate and blood pressure further. Your heart is suddenly being asked to work significantly harder than it was 10 minutes earlier while it was still in sleep mode. And the third factor is one that almost everyone underestimates: dehydration. After 7 or 8 hours without any fluid, your blood is measurably thicker than it was when you went to sleep. You have been losing water through breathing and natural perspiration throughout the night. The result is that your blood is more viscous than normal. Thicker blood is harder for the heart to pump. It requires more effort from the heart muscle to keep circulation moving. And thicker blood is also more prone to clotting. So every single morning without exception, your heart faces 3 simultaneous challenges before you have done anything at all: rising cortisol, a surge of adrenaline, and thicker blood that is harder to pump and more likely to form clots. In a younger cardiovascular system, these 3 things together are handled without difficulty. The heart and blood vessels are flexible enough and responsive enough to manage all 3 at once. But in an older adult whose arteries have naturally lost some of their elasticity over decades, this triple morning challenge is genuinely significant. And it is precisely at this moment of maximum cardiovascular vulnerability that certain morning habits push things past the point of safety. Let us talk about those habits now, starting with the one that caused the cardiac emergency I described at the beginning of this video: cold showers first thing in the morning. Over the past several years, cold showers have become increasingly popular as a wellness practice. You have probably seen or heard people talk about the benefits of cold water for energy, alertness, and circulation. And in a young, healthy person with flexible arteries, the body can generally tolerate this without significant danger. But in an older adult whose cardiovascular system is already managing the morning challenge I just described, a sudden blast of cold water on the body is a serious physiological shock. And here is exactly what it does. The moment cold water hits the skin, the body interprets it as a threat. It activates an emergency heat preservation response. Thousands of tiny blood vessels in the skin and limbs constrict rapidly and simultaneously. This sudden mass constriction is called peripheral vasoconstriction, and its immediate effect on blood pressure is dramatic. Research has shown that cold water shock can raise systolic blood pressure by 20 to 30 points within seconds. For someone whose blood pressure is already elevated at the start of the morning because of cortisol and adrenaline, this additional spike is a serious cardiovascular event happening inside the body in real time. Think about what this means physically. Your arteries at this stage of life have naturally lost some of their youthful flexibility. They are stiffer than they were at 40. When blood pressure spikes suddenly and significantly in arteries that cannot expand and flex the way they once could, the pressure has to go somewhere. It pushes against vessel walls that are less able to accommodate it. In areas where arterial plaque has built up over years, that sudden pressure surge can be enough to rupture the plaque. And when plaque ruptures, the body immediately sends clotting material to the site. In blood that is already thicker than normal from overnight dehydration, that clotting response can form a blockage in the artery. That is a heart attack. At the same time, the heart is suddenly being asked to pump against dramatically increased resistance. Its demand for oxygen skyrockets. If the coronary arteries that supply the heart with blood and oxygen have any narrowing at all, even mild narrowing that has never caused symptoms before, they may not be able to supply the extra oxygen the heart is now demanding. When heart muscle does not get the oxygen it needs, the electrical system that controls the heartbeat becomes unstable. And electrical instability in the heart is where life-threatening arrhythmias come from. The most dangerous of these is ventricular fibrillation. During ventricular fibrillation, the heart stops pumping in any coordinated way. It simply quivers. No blood reaches the brain, no blood reaches any organ. Without a defibrillator reversing it within minutes, it is fatal. Cold shower, blood pressure spike, oxygen demand, electrical instability, cardiac arrest. That chain of events is not theoretical. It is what happens in emergency rooms. And the people it happens to are almost always older adults whose hearts were managing fine until that one morning when the combination of factors was simply too much. This does not mean you can never enjoy a refreshing shower. What it means is that for adults over 60, starting your shower with cold water or exposing your chest to cold water without any preparation is a risk that is simply not worth taking. Later in this video, I am going to give you a safer shower approach that still feels refreshing without the cardiovascular shock. Now let us talk about the second morning danger. This one is so simple and so overlooked that most people genuinely cannot believe it matters as much as it does. Not drinking water when you first wake up. We just talked about how your blood thickens overnight from dehydration. By the time you wake up after 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your blood is measurably more viscous than it should be. Your heart is already working harder than normal just to circulate it. The clotting risk is already elevated. And what do most people do first thing in the morning? They make coffee, or they go straight to the bathroom, or they check their phone, or they head directly to taking their medications. The one thing that could immediately begin addressing that morning dehydration and reducing the burden on the heart gets skipped completely. Drinking water when you first wake up before anything else begins reversing the hemoconcentration that built up overnight within minutes. It starts thinning the blood back to normal viscosity. It reduces the effort required from the heart to maintain circulation. It lowers the clotting risk that thicker morning blood carries. This is not a complicated intervention. It is a glass of room temperature water on your nightstand waiting for you before you even get out of bed. Room temperature is important. Cold water first thing in the morning causes the same kind of vasoconstriction response in the digestive system and can trigger a stress reflex that temporarily raises blood pressure. Room temperature water is absorbed more quickly and comfortably and does not create that shock response. This one habit, a glass of water before anything else every single morning, is genuinely one of the most direct and immediate protective things an older adult can do for their heart during the morning danger window. The third morning danger is one that sends thousands of older adults to the emergency room every single year, and almost none of them ever saw it coming: getting out of bed too quickly. When you are lying flat in bed, blood is distributed relatively evenly throughout your body. The moment you stand up, gravity immediately pulls a significant volume of blood downward into your legs and lower body. Your heart suddenly has less blood available to pump to your brain. Blood pressure in the brain drops briefly. In a younger person, this is corrected almost instantly. Pressure sensors throughout the vascular system detect the drop and send immediate signals to the heart to beat faster and to the blood vessels to constrict slightly. The whole correction happens in a second or two and the person barely notices. After 60, this correction system slows down. The pressure sensors become less sensitive. The heart takes longer to respond. The blood vessels are less able to constrict quickly. So for several seconds after standing up, blood pressure in the brain remains lower than it should be. You feel it as lightheadedness, or the need to grab onto something, or briefly see dark around the edges of your vision. Most older adults have experienced this at some point, and most of them assume it is just a minor annoyance. But in its more serious form, this drop causes syncope, a sudden loss of consciousness. And losing consciousness while standing up often means falling. A fall in the bedroom or bathroom can mean a head injury, a hip fracture, broken ribs. These injuries in older adults are not minor setbacks. They lead to hospitalizations, surgeries, prolonged immobility, and the cascade of complications that immobility brings, including blood clots and pneumonia. There is also the cardiovascular risk of the body's correction response itself. When the nervous system finally kicks in to compensate for the blood pressure drop, it does so abruptly. It triggers a sudden rapid increase in heart rate to restore circulation. This abrupt surge in heart rate in a heart already dealing with morning cortisol, thicker blood, and the stress of whatever else is happening that morning can be the final push toward an arrhythmia. The fix costs nothing and takes about 60 seconds. When you wake up, do not immediately throw back the covers and stand up. Lie still for 30 seconds. Breathe slowly. Move your feet and ankles in gentle circles. This activates the muscle pump in your calves, which helps push blood back up toward the heart before you even sit up. Then sit on the edge of the bed and stay there for another 30 seconds before standing. This gradual transition allows your cardiovascular system to prepare for the change in position before you put full weight on your feet. It is one of the most simple and most genuinely protective habits you can build. Now, the fourth danger is one that affects a large number of older adults who are doing everything they are supposed to be doing medically and still have no idea this risk exists. Magnesium depletion from diuretic medications. Diuretics are among the most commonly prescribed medications for high blood pressure in older adults. Medications like furosemide and hydrochlorothiazide work by helping the kidneys remove excess salt and water from the body, which reduces blood volume and lowers blood pressure. They work well for what they are designed to do, but one of their significant side effects is that they also cause the body to excrete magnesium along with the excess fluid. And magnesium is one of the most critical minerals for the electrical stability of the heart. Here is why magnesium matters so specifically. Your heart beats because of a precisely coordinated electrical system. Each heartbeat is triggered by an electrical impulse that travels through heart tissue in a specific sequence. Magnesium acts as a stabilizer of this electrical system. It regulates the flow of other minerals like potassium and calcium that generate and control these electrical impulses. When magnesium is adequate, the heart's electrical signals travel smoothly and the rhythm stays regular. When magnesium is depleted, heart cells become electrically unstable. They become more easily triggered to fire irregularly. The risk of arrhythmias increases significantly. The most dangerous of these arrhythmias, ventricular fibrillation, the one that causes cardiac arrest, is directly linked to magnesium deficiency in the medical literature. The troubling part is that mild to moderate magnesium deficiency often causes no obvious symptoms beyond muscle cramps, occasional palpitations, or fatigue. All things that in an older adult get attributed to aging rather than an identifiable and correctable nutritional deficiency. If you take a diuretic medication for blood pressure and you experience muscle cramps, especially at night, occasional heart palpitations, or unexplained fatigue, please bring this up with your doctor specifically. Ask whether your magnesium levels have been checked recently. This is a simple blood test, and if deficiency is found, it is correctable, either through dietary changes, foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and legumes, or through supplementation under medical guidance. This is not about stopping your blood pressure medication. It is about making sure the complete picture of your health is being managed, not just the blood pressure number in isolation. Now let me bring all of this together in a practical morning routine that protects your heart during those most vulnerable minutes of the day. This takes 5 minutes, not 30, not a complete lifestyle overhaul. 5 minutes that transform your morning from a period of cardiovascular risk into a safe and gradual transition. The first minute is about staying still. When your alarm goes off or you naturally wake up, do not move immediately. Lie still. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4 and exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. This genuinely calms the fight or flight response and gives your cortisol and adrenaline a moment to settle rather than spiking to their maximum the second you move. The second minute is about water. Before you get out of bed, reach for the glass of room temperature water you placed on your nightstand the night before. Sit up slowly. Drink the water. This is the single most impactful thing you can do for your heart in the morning. It immediately begins addressing the overnight dehydration that thickened your blood. It starts thinning your blood back toward normal. It reduces the workload on your heart before the day even begins. The third minute is about letting gravity work gradually. Stay sitting on the edge of your bed with your feet on the floor. Do not stand up yet. While you sit, move your ankles in gentle, slow circles. Point your toes down, then flex them up. This activates the calf muscles, which act as a secondary pump, pushing blood back up toward your heart. After 60 seconds of this, your cardiovascular system has had time to adjust to the upright posture and prepare for standing. The fourth minute is gentle movement while still seated. While sitting on the edge of the bed, slowly roll your shoulders. Gently turn your head from side to side. Stretch your arms above your head. Do a gentle forward lean. These movements improve circulation, wake up the muscles, and send oxygenated blood through the body gradually rather than demanding it all at once. The fifth minute is standing and transitioning slowly. Now stand up. When you first get to your feet, pause for a few seconds before walking. Make sure you feel steady. Then walk slowly toward the bathroom or kitchen. You have now moved from sleep to standing in a way that your cardiovascular system could manage comfortably every step of the way. Now about the shower. You do not have to give up a refreshing shower. You just need to make it safer. Start with warm water, not hot and not cold, around body temperature. This prevents the vasoconstriction shock of cold water and avoids the blood pressure drop that comes from water that is too hot. Let your body adjust to the water temperature for a minute before adjusting it further. If you enjoy a cooler shower, finish with it rather than starting with it. Gradually reduce the temperature in the last minute or two rather than turning it cold all at once. Direct cooler water to your feet and legs first before bringing it up toward your chest. Never start a cold blast directly on the chest. This is where the most dangerous cardiovascular reflex is triggered. And if you have diagnosed heart disease or poorly controlled blood pressure, please skip the cold water entirely. The potential benefit is not worth the risk for someone whose cardiovascular system already has documented vulnerabilities. Let me bring this all together. The morning danger zone is real. Every morning your heart faces rising cortisol, an adrenaline surge, and thicker dehydrated blood all at once. On top of that foundation, certain morning habits dramatically increase the cardiovascular risk of those first 60 minutes. Cold water shock spikes blood pressure by 20 to 30 points in seconds and can trigger a chain of events leading to arrhythmia or cardiac arrest. Not drinking water immediately after waking leaves your blood thick and your heart working harder than necessary with elevated clotting risk. Getting out of bed too quickly causes a blood pressure drop to the brain that can cause falls and trigger dangerous compensatory heart rate surges. And magnesium depletion from diuretic medications creates electrical instability in the heart that makes every other morning risk more dangerous. Every single one of these is fixable. 5 minutes of intentional morning habits changes the entire picture. Water on the nightstand, slow transitions, a temperature-sensible shower, and a conversation with your doctor about magnesium if you take diuretics. Your heart has been working for you without a single break for your entire life. It deserves 5 minutes every morning. If today's video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone you care about who is over 60. The morning habits I described today are ones that affect almost every older adult, and almost none of them have ever been told what I shared with you today. Subscribe if you are not already part of this community. Every week I bring you honest, clear health information built specifically for adults over 60. And leave a comment below. What is your first morning habit, and are you going to change anything after watching this today? I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to hear from you. Take care of yourself and take care of your heart. It is counting on you every single morning. I will see you in the next one. Just remember, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. Always talk to your doctor or healthcare provider before making any changes to your medications, supplements, diet, or health routine.